Hey everyone, welcome back to Book Addiction. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone had a great month of reading. I know I did. When it comes to the TBR being complete, it did not quite happen. Things happened. Life was crazy this month. A lot of traveling. Friend had a car breakdown in my yard. Just been a wild month. Kids started cheerleading, so it's been something else. But we got some books read. Maybe not as many as we wanted to, but what we read was fantastic. So we're going to jump into that and talk about those real quick. I'm not going to talk about this one very much because I kind of wrapped this up in my last video, but we did read that at the beginning of August. That was a horror movie. Thought this was fantastic. Highly recommend this. So if you want to hear a little bit more about it, in my last video I talked about this book. But next up, the next book that I read after that was fantastic, and that was Red Rising. Didn't know much about this. I just know I heard a lot about it on Instagram, Book Talk, other people talking about videos on YouTube. And this is by Pierce Brown. I absolutely love this dystopian sci-fi, just action book following Darrow, I believe his name was. Fantastic book. There's all kinds of stuff going on in this. You're on Mars. They're talking about different, almost godlike people in this book. And then it almost turns to like a Hunger Games in the middle of this. And it was fantastic, and I cannot wait to read the sequel. I highly, highly recommend this book. I did not want to put it down. And I have already picked up the sequel, Golden Sun, for next month. So hopefully we'll be diving into that. But highly recommend this. This is a trilogy. I believe there's other books that are connected as well, but this is the first in the trilogy, Red Rising. Fantastic. I would rate that probably 4.5 stars, if not 5. I absolutely loved it. Next up, like I said, we did not read everything on our TBR. This one took me a little longer to read. I had started it and then went and traveled, and I'm not big on reading while we're traveling. So I did start The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in the Farseer trilogy. Fantastic book. This is a little bit of a slower read than I've been used to recently. Everything I've been reading has been pretty fast-paced. This was a lot slower, but I really enjoyed the story, and the writing in this was fantastic. It does take a little while to get into it, in my opinion, just because it's like developing this whole story. You start out with the bastard Fitz, young Fitz, the noble. He's the son of Prince Chivalry, and it follows him from when he's 6 years old, the day that we meet him at the very beginning of the book, all the way up until I think he's probably 14 or 15 by the end of this book. So it kind of goes through his whole entire life, his whole story, what he has to deal with being the bastard of the prince, and some of the things he has to go through is just intense. There's a lot of different characters in this book that they go through, and you're kind of like, you're wondering like, why is this character here? Because they're not really talking about a whole lot. And then they come back, and then once the whole entire book wraps up, the third act in this, if you will, was the absolute best part. When everything came together in the end, just jaw-dropping. I absolutely loved it. So I cannot wait for the sequel for this. I did already purchase it. Hopefully we'll get into it next month. But I highly recommend this. This is a deeper dive into fantasy for me. I've read some fantasy in the past, but they were more like, I guess you would say, young adult. I wouldn't consider this young adult necessarily. There's some words in there that you can't pronounce. You kind of have to guess how you're saying it since I'm not listening to the audio. But I like the road that I'm going down with this. And there's like, I don't know, there's 16 books that all connect, but this is just the trilogy of this story. This character is in other stories as well. But I highly recommend this. I gave this 4 stars. I'm not very good at rating books as of right now, but 4 stars for me. Highly recommend it. And then I technically cheated on that one because I finished it yesterday, which was September 1st, but I have been reading it for a while. Like I said, it took me a lot longer to get through that one. And then Hey, we had to cut there real quick because the cat was knocking over the camera. You gotta love the cats. But I went ahead and jumped into solo leveling. This follows a hunter. They kind of like dungeon crawlers, killing the boss at the end, essentially, from what I can take. The art in this was fantastic. I loved it. Very interesting story. It follows the weakest ranked hunter. He gets hurt in the lowest dungeons, like the E dungeon. They rank him like E, D, A, and S. I think S is the highest rank you can be. But he ends up being the smart one in the end. Thought it was really fascinating. Like I said, this is a really quick read. Apparently there's an actual book that maybe I should have grabbed instead of grabbing the first manga, but I enjoyed it. Looking forward to the sequel. It ends kind of like his world mixed with a video game. He sees a screen at the end, and he has quests that he has to do essentially, and points that he has to build on, like doing push-ups and running and so many things, kind of like a video game. But it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. So there's that. So that's what we read in August. Did not read everything that I wanted to read in August, but I think I bit off more than I could chew. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my favorite out of the month of August. And out of these, I want to go ahead and take these two out. And that would be Red Rising and Assassin's Apprentice. It would be tied between these two. And just for overall experience and fun and could not put down, I'm going to have to go with Red Rising. This was fantastic. I think it's going to get even better in the sequel, just because this was a lot of character building in this one, which I loved. But like I said, you had to be in the right mood to read this one. This was a lot more fast-paced. I laughed a lot more. There was a lot more action. It was just very interesting story. And I could vision this as a movie or a TV show, like every scene. So I'm gonna go with Red Rising. That was my favorite book of the month. If you've read any of these, what would you choose? And what did you think of Red Rising if you read it? But that's the book of the month, Red Rising. Fantastic. Cannot wait for the sequel. This was part of the TBR for August. I didn't make it. It is now September 2nd. But I did start this morning. I'm about 5 or 6 chapters in. The chapters seem really short. But so far, I think this is going to be a quick read. It's only like 320 pages maybe. I think this is going to be a quick read. It seems pretty interesting so far. But thanks for joining us, or joining me, I guess, for what we read in August. What did you read? Comment down below. I'd love to hear. And if you've read these, let me know down below. Next up, I'll do a video for what I have purchased and possibly the TBR. I might do the same because I'm not sure what the TBR is going to be for September. I know it starts out with the heart-shaped box and possibly the sequels to these books that I read in August. And if you have any recommendations, let them down below in the comments. I also have an Instagram, Book Addiction. Link should be down below. And like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye.